Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us for NBA action on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by Greg Anthony and Stan Van Gundy. And we've got Allie LaForce reporting from the sideline. A moment now to look at the year-to-year scoring output and how it has been trending for Chris Middleton.
And sometimes you have to adjust your game as Father Time starts to take a toll. I think we've seen that he's still a valuable contributor. And look, what he may be doing less in terms of raw scoring output, his veteran presence certainly offsets.
And the starting group for the Grizzlies. Wells is out there with Jackson. Then there's Ty Jerome. Then it's Santi Aldama. And it's Coward in at the 2 spot. And for the Mavericks, big man on the floor for him. It'll be Washington and Gafford. Max Christie out there with Flag. And it's Marshall in at the 3. Well, we should be in for a fast-paced game tonight, Coach. Both of these teams excel at creating fast break opportunities.
Look, Kevin, you're right. Both of these teams prefer to get out and attack before the other can get their defense set. They want to use their speed and athleticism, and they need to get as many easy buckets as they possibly can.
Here's Coward. And he can be counted on to put some points on the board every night. He's averaging right around 13.5 points a game. Jerome, no good. Washington with it, now guarded by Wells. Here's Washington. His scoring has been there on a regular basis. He's averaging more than 14 points a game. Clock at 4. Christie kicks to Washington. Shoots over Wells. Pass to Flag. Washington sets the pick for Flag. Back to Gafford. Washington passes to Christie. The 3. Again, the miss by the Mavericks. And Coach Van Gundy, the big name for Memphis is Ja Morant. But his superstar trajectory hitting a little bit of turbulence.
Well, some of those troubles were self-inflicted, Kevin, but also questions about his high-flying style. As he said himself, the balls can take it out of you.
Flag with it, guarded by Jackson.
And you hope that this inspires the offense. The game is about putting it in the basket, and that first bucket took a while.
The Mavericks shooting their first foul shot of the night.
And 74% has been the mark for them on the season thus far.
One shot.
And the free throw, no good. Here's Aldama, covered by Gafford. Jerome finds Aldama. Jackson deciding where to go with it. Back to Aldama. And the rejection by Gafford. Here's Flag, guarded by Jerome. And that one's good. Flag.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
Once he gets in deep on the defense, there is no way he's missing a layup like that.
Here's Jerome. Last outing, we saw him pour in 22. Aldama passes to Jackson. Fires for 3. And the rebound goes to the Mavericks. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to Sacramento.
Well, what did them in was all the missed free throws. It could have been a much different outcome.
Yeah, and it can be deflating when you leave all those points at the line. But it generally is a make-or-miss lead.
Good way to start this game. You want to get him rolling as early as possible.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if he gets into a good rhythm early, watch out.
And so the timeout here called by Thomas Isolo. Coach needs a moment to talk things over.
You know what happened is, man. Here comes your team and crew.
Let's bring out the 2K leaderboard to see the best up-tempo teams in the league. Second, the Mavericks.
I think that's what really distinguishes them offensively. They really like to get out in transition.
Here's Hendricks, defended by Middleton. Pass to Hendricks. That three off the mark.
Well defended that time. He's a shooter that the D has to close down on quickly when he's ready to pull the trigger.
Now here's Middleton. 17 points for him last game against Sacramento.
And there really was a physical aspect of his performance that was off the charts. He was taking it right at him, and he just kept getting those calls and getting to the line.
And the Mavericks with some changes. Bagley, he's checked in for Daniel Gafford. Thompson comes in for Flag. And it's Williams in for Max Christie. And here's Pippen. He's a good contributor to his team, averaging about 10.5 points a game. They need this one. The shot will not fall. And so it's the Dallas Mavericks with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. They've been playing some ferocious defense. And we've got more on 2K Sports coming your way after this break. And if you're just joining us, we've played through one quarter in this one. And guys, what's your take on the Mavericks so far?
You could see they were well prepared defensively coming into this one.
KYP, know your personnel. So far, good attention to the scouting report.
Chris Middleton is out there with Thompson. Then there's Marvin Bagley. Then it's Williams. And it's Nembhard in at the point guard position. That's the lineup in the game for Dallas. Middleton outside. Just 5 to shoot. For the 3. The rebound by Anderson. The Grizzlies trail by 6. Pass to Pippen. Here's Hendricks. Defended by Middleton. Outside Pippen. Over Williams. Pippen can't hit.
Well, that's a miss you can live with. I expect they'll go to it again, especially if the defense continues to concede it.
And Thompson kicks to Middleton. Dallas moving the ball around. The shot by Nembhard and nobody around. Drops in the tray. Nembhard's got the lead up to 9 now for Dallas.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
And so the timeout here called by Thomas Isolo. He's going to take this chance to talk to his guys.
Okay, guys, man. I need you to get up and get ready for your defense move.
Daniel Gafford's checked in for Marvin Bagley. B.J. Washington comes in for Chris Middleton. Najee Marshall, he's checked in for Thompson. And Flag subbed in for Williams. And we're now about a minute and a half into the second quarter. Pass to Jerome. Wells sets the pick for Jerome. 6 to shoot. Here he goes. It's rebounded by Dallas.
And they're controlling the boards, Kevin. That's +5 in that category.
Let's go to the sideline and see what Allie LaForce has dug up for us. Allie, take it away.
Hey, Commissioner Adam Silver was asked about the wildest ideas thrown around in the league office. He said, quote, one thing that's been discussed is potentially 2 free throws for a foul on a 3-point shot. I don't think we'd do it in the last 2 minutes of the game, but that's something interesting. Back to you, Kevin.
Not a bad idea. All right, Allie, thanks a lot. And again, Memphis no good. Dallas leading by 9. 1:33 left in the first half. And that one's good. Flag.
Love that they're continuing to attack despite being up big.
Yeah, they're being absolutely relentless, building this lead in every way possible.
Here's Jerome after the Mavericks pick up 3. Pass to Jackson. Here's Wells. Now Jerome. Here's Coward. Nothing on the board.
And not allowing the shooter even an inch of breathing room on that one.
There's no air space there whatsoever. That's as close as you can get without foul.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that one.
And we know he's capable of those memorable ones. And here's Jerome. He'll bring it up for the Memphis Grizzlies. Pass to Hendricks. Now here's Jackson. At the top of the key, Jerome. Shot clock at 6. Here's Hendricks. Shot to stop the run. It's rebounded by Dallas. Gafford's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Out to the right wing from downtown. Hendricks pulls it in. The Grizzlies trail by 14. Right side, Jackson. On the wing, Jackson. And oh, he hits the buzzer beater.
One eye on the rim, one eye on the clock. Nice job.
Well, it's good to have a player on the floor with that kind of awareness. He recognized the situation.
And so it's Dallas, enjoying a 12-point lead as they talk things over during the break. They have made it very tough to get a shot off against them. Their defense has been stifling. We'll return shortly.
Fans, please direct your attention to center court. And get ready for the fan half-court shot. Red line! Okay, they're thinking about the shot. Better luck next time. Hey, give it up for our contestant.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us. It would be an understatement to say it's been a great half for the Dallas Mavericks.
They're moving well on offense, great teamwork. Maybe not as strong as our teamwork, but whose is?
How about your old Lakers team?
What I remember seeing, they pass the ball into Shaq Ernie, and it never comes back out.
That's why they call me the Shaq Hole.
And moving along, a metric for that first half. Love me some metrics. Checking out the top performer on each team.
We're seeing a game within a game at the small forward position. Both guys are taking pride in this matchup, going full force. There looks to be a little jawing going on. Second half should be even more exciting.
Thanks for spending halftime with us. Time to get it back out to Kevin Harlan for the start of the third quarter.
And there wasn't too much drama in the first half, but maybe things will tighten up here in the second. Cooper Flag really making a difference here.
Yeah, it's been a great performance from him, really staying focused on quality shots.
Yeah, he's found his spots, been patient with his shot selection, and it's paid off for himself and the team.
And Greg is a former point guard in this league. Give us your top floor generals of all time, the guys that could direct the floor and could control a game.
Wow, if we're talking traditional point guards, I gotta go Magic, Isaiah, CP3's in that conversation, Jason Kidd, but I've got a separate list for that hybrid point guard, right? Which that includes guys like Steph, Iverson, West, and the great Oscar Robertson.
So the Grizzlies 5 right now. Santi Aldama is out there with Jackson. Then there's Wells. Then there's Ty Jerome. And it's Coward in at the 2-guard spot. Now here's Jackson. He's a good contributor to his team, averaging about 10.5 points a game. Christie the pass to Washington. And then Washington with the dunk.
He takes advantage of them in every way possible.
And Grady lures them into a trap on the steal, and then bang, straight to the bucket.
Turning great defense into great offense. That's the kind of stop you're looking for.
Here's Jackson. The Mavericks making the shot. Pass to Aldama for 3. A rebound by Washington.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
And the 7-footer, Santi Aldama. You know, Stan, he looks like a guard out there at times.
The way this guy has improved since he's come into the league is phenomenal. You know, this is a guy who's gotten better as a shooter, more consistent, more efficient. But then he's added, like you said, his ability to put the ball on the floor and attack the basket, and his ability to pass off the dribble. This is a very skilled big man.
And so here's Memphis. The Mavericks making the shot. Memphis moving that ball around. Wells dishes to Jackson. Shot clock at 5. The Grizzlies with another miss.
And they start the second half with 3 straight misses.
Wells with the steal.
2 minutes remaining in the third.
Here's Coward. Here's Aldama. Terrific assist, a nice finish. Solid play all around.
And at 7 feet tall, Aldama can burn you inside. Even with the contact, he's tough to contain at times.
Dallas leading by 17. Pass to Marshall. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Christie with it. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging over 13 points a game.
And guys, that's not as easy as he made it look. You've got to have some skills to pull that off.
Well, he's got plenty of those, that's for sure. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
And so the timeout here called by Thomas Isolo. He's ready to talk things through with them. Making a change here. Nemhard's checked in. Pippen's checked in for Memphis. A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. Pass to Coward. Tipped away. Stolen by Washington. Here's Christie. Back to Washington. Now Nembhard. Just 5 on the clock. Produced screen on Pippen. 3, Marshall. On the wing, Christie. Pass to Nembhard. And here is Washington. A three-pointer, no good. To the inside. Here's Wells, and he banks in the layup. Wells has got his first basket of the night.
If the possession ends with a shot in close, you've done something right.
Third quarter of basketball here, and just a little under 3.5 minutes gone by. Washington with this screen on Pippen. And play stops. Whistle on what looks to be an illegal screen.
And not the most common call you'll see in the NBA, but hard to argue that pick wasn't illegal.
Yeah, and that's maybe something that should be called more. We see a lot of moving screens in today's NBA.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Bagley, he's checked in for Daniel Gafford. Chris Middleton comes in for Washington. Flag is checked in for Marshall. And it's Thompson in for Christie. It's stolen by Bagley. Middleton on the wing. Defended by Pippen. Now here's Middleton. Shoots over Pippen. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Mavericks lead by 17. And we'll get going after this from the American Airlines Center. And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Coach Jason Kidd.
We got some great looks. Great looks. Defensively, we're getting stops too.
The words of Jason Kidd in that huddle moments ago. Happy with the way his team is performing, hoping they can maintain the momentum they've captured.
Well, I mean, they're working together on both ends of the floor and doing a great job of playing at their pace.
Memphis ball.
And there have been two very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. Sliding in at the wing positions will be Thompson and Flag. Bagley is out there with Chris Middleton, and it's Nembhard in at the point guard. That's the lineup in the game for Dallas. Yep, it counts. Spencer's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Grizzlies.
Man, can you always depend on him or what to lead you to the right place with that pass? Money.
Middleton looking it over. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Trains the three-pointer. Middleton's got his first 3 points of the game.
Defensively, you have to stay attached to Middleton and run him off that three-point line.
And we have a timeout called by Thomas Iserlohn. It's a chance for them to regroup and refocus. And here's Jerome. He'll bring it up for the Grizzlies. They trail by 18. Next game, they'll take on the Pacers in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That matchup falls in the middle game of this 3-game trip. Here's Jerome. Stolen by Washington. Now Flag. Outside Christie. Washington with the screen on Jerome. Washington trying to break free. And the layup's good off the glass. And that's 11 points for Cooper Flag.
And Matador defense, that's one of the easiest shots he is ever going to see.
An unorganized defense like that is not going to help them close this deficit.
Here's Jerome. Following the score by Dallas. Just over a minute and a half played here in the fourth. To the left wing. Clock at 6. Gafford with the steal. Pass to Washington. Stan, what advice would you give to coaches that are leading a struggling team?
Well, Kevin, I think the number one thing, whether you're leading a struggling team or a team playing really well or anything in between, is to just stay consistent. Keep working on the things that you know over time make teams consistent. Go out and talk about those things day in and day out and try to get your team to focus on those.
Mavericks leading by 17. Now Flag uses the glass to finish the layup. And that's 13 points for Cooper Flag.
And that tells the tale here today, guys. Throughout this game, they've been able to get the ball in tight and finish.
And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority, very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for the Mavericks.
Two great rebounding teams.
And these guys worked just a little bit harder tonight, and that was the edge they needed.
And so looking at their number, this will be win number 22 on the year.
Really a big-time win for these guys. They lost their first 2 games of the year to this team, so they won't be in danger of getting swept when they meet for the 4th time.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Cooper Flag.
Well, he was the reliable option for them on just about every possession. So dependable, always making the right decision.
35 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Pass to Flag. And they call the foul, so a chance at the line for one more coming up.
And it's just competing, you know, giving your best when it matters most.
Yeah, they've got clutch guys on this team, and they never let up.
And that one misses. Back to Middleton. 5 on the clock. Over Hendricks. It's rebounded by Memphis. Outside Pippen. So we see the Mavericks taking the win here. They poured it on tonight. Dominant showing in front of a crowd that loved every minute of it.
And, you know, this game could really be a defining one for what they can do when they are playing at their best. I mean, being here at home no doubt helps, and the execution was flawless.
And that'll do it, folks. And for all of us here at the table, Stan Van Gundy and Greg Anthony and our terrific sideline reporter, Allie LaForce, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for